art now. So the St. Lorient Gallery in Pretoria will be opening the solo exhibition Illness Became Her by Dr. Nathani Lüneburg. The work delves into the personal and complex experience of living with psychiatric and neurological diseases. Dr. Nathani Lüneburg from the Northwest University joins us now in studio. Doctor, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's a big pleasure to be here and quite an honor. This project has been going on for a year, and I work in digital painting, only with a mouse and a computer. No traditional art is applied in my artistic methods.
Yeah.
So it takes quite longer than a traditional methodology, although people might think so. It's only with a normal mouse, not with a Wacom or with a tablet.
Yeah.
So everything is illustrated with a mouse.
That's incredible. And digital artwork is so important, I think, particularly in this era where everyone is talking about AI. But, you know, the work that is done by digital art is so important in this era to be kept alive. But talk to us about this particular exhibition. Illness Became Her, the story that we're telling there. I know that it is, in some part, your own story.
Yes, it's a biographical story about my epilepsy. 2 years ago, I started to suffer of temporal lobe epilepsy, and my cortex started to shrink. And I went for contrast scans, and they found out that the temporal lobe epilepsy, the lesions that I got, was found in the part where the emotional areas are affected in my brain, as well as the cortex affects the memory. So it's basically brain damage that caused the epilepsy. And the epilepsy slows down certain areas and certain actions in my brain. And it also causes a lot of seizures, which is very embarrassing to have in front of public, because you urinate yourself. You can't really teach. I'm a born teacher at university level, and then at the end I had to be medically boarded, or not a formal process, but I had to resign. It was the best option for me. And 10 years, 15 years ago, I was also diagnosed with bipolar 2. So both these illnesses work together in terms of emotional connection.
Yeah.
And it's for doctors very difficult to find the correct medication and formulations to control these disorders and neurological disorders.
Sure. It's a balancing act. It's a medical balancing act.
Yes. And it's when there's an episode in disorder, in the bipolar disorder, it is very difficult. So I created an alter ego for myself called Natty. Natty the giraffe.
Yeah.
And Natty is my epilepsy giraffe, and she is like an aura.
Yeah.
An aura in epilepsy is when you get a certain point where you feel you're gonna get the seizure.
Yeah.
and like a twitch in your hand. And she's also my savior, and she's also she also represents me.
Yeah.
And I guess the show is also about suicide, because there's 5 times more people with bipolar that commit suicide than the normal generation. And so with epilepsy. And I want to become an ambassador to make people aware visually about these illnesses.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand it, and they criticize it, and they just they cannot deal with it.
Yeah. Talk to us about this picture. This is Natty. There's Natty.
There's Natty, and if you look very closely, there's a superimposed image of me that's in the same position as Natty. It's very, very it has a very low opacity. But that's almost the amount of pills that I had to take throughout the 15 years of my lifetime. That I had to consume just to operate normally.
Sure.
And it doesn't cure you. This medicine doesn't cure you, it just helps you to control your life. And this image is called "Tonight Will Be a Good Night." And this is Natty protecting me and hoping that I will sleep through, because sleep is also a factor that is affected by both epilepsy and bipolar. If you don't sleep correctly, then the illness goes out of hand.
Yeah.
Illness is a very interesting effect that that is something that you have to control.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's quite the story, and I'm just looking at this and remembering that she said this is all digital artwork, right? And I'm looking at the attention to detail as well. Absolutely incredible. Talk to us about this one that we're looking at.
The second character is Hynos, and that I see as the public. The public is the hyena who does not understand what is going on, and that's always after you, and who does not understand the conflict inside you and how hard you must fight to actually just get up in the mornings and to get showered and to get a meal and to operate as a normal person. And here you can see I'm trying to squeeze one of Hynos's buddies, and but then just another Hynos appears.
Yeah.
So it's a losing battle to fight public on this. Because
Do you know, I must tell you, it's such a, this is so enlightening, because and you're right, a lot of people don't understand mental illness and even neurological diseases, but a lot of them that are suffering are watching this right now and saying, thank you for saying the thing that we needed to be said. Talk to us about this one.
This is me standing naked after an epilepsy seizure. It was especially after a shower, and I just felt that Natty was trying to chase away the idea that the public moves in and will look at you as if you are some sort of lady of the night.
It's quite a story that you're telling.
Yeah.
Because of how exposed. Okay, you've got quite a way of telling things. Okay, let's take a look at another one now that's coming up on the screen.
This is all the tests that I had to do for epilepsy. I visited the hospital so many times for weeks and weeks, scans by scans, EEGs through the nights, and it was so depressing. Sometimes the doctors stopped my medication completely to induce seizures so that they could see when do I get the seizures. And
what causes it?
What causes it. And it was very traumatic for me. So, and the amount of EEGs that I've received, each time you have to scrub your hair, you have to shave your hair, because that glue that they put it on your hair is so messy and so absolutely hard that you have to shave your hair.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's so quite traumatic.
Yes.
It sounds like. We're going to take a look at two more pictures because you've told your story through the art incredibly beautifully. Let's take a look at this one. Talk to us about, once again, you and Natty.
I was hospitalized. I couldn't breathe. And this was when I experienced SUDEP. Now, SUDEP is a form of epilepsy where you almost die. You cannot breathe. It's a deadly form of epilepsy. And luckily, my husband got me to the hospital in time. And how I saw the drips was Natty giving me life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, one more. We're going to take a look at one more.
Yeah, this one is very personal for me. If you look closely, you'll see that the giraffe lying has a bloody neck and my face. And it's a scene of suicide. And it just represents that people with epilepsy do commit suicide. They do. If you go and look at the numbers, they do. They cannot cope with the stress.
Yeah.
I mean, there's brain damage.
Mm. You know, you've told such a story through your artwork, and it shows the fighting spirit as well. And all the best to you. Continue that fighting spirit. Talk to us about where we get to see the show.
It's at St. Lorient, the viewing room, at 11 o'clock in Viersen Street, Brooklyn Circle. And there will be wine.
Thank goodness.
And some other goodies.
Yeah.